Well, we're back on We Don't Color on the Dog. We've got with us Escambia County Sheriff Chip Simmons. Chip, thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Rick. How are you doing?
Well, I missed you. We haven't, it's one of those months between UWF and the legislature and a lot of other things. And y'all had your hands full with the memorial, opening it. Of course, Blazer Academy, those pictures were just heartwarming about that. And then, gosh, two recent major drug busts that you've had. Let's talk about the enforcement side first. Two houses in Escambia County. I saw the pictures on Facebook, a boatload of guns and drugs and money. Tell us about it.
Well, we talked a lot over the last couple of years really about our focus with regards to narcotic investigation and the connection between the drugs and the guns and the fentanyl and overdoses. And so we've prioritized that. We talked about what we have done here at the sheriff's office regarding the number of people that are available to do narcotics investigations. And we have practically doubled the number of investigators that we have, because the focus again was to get not just what I call the street level dealers, but to get the people that are bringing it in, the people, the mid level, and many times the upper level distributors, the people actually bringing it into our community. And what we posted recently was some pictures. I want people to understand what type of people that we're dealing with and just how dangerous they are. You've seen the pictures of the guns. They're not just AR-15 type guns or assault rifle type guns. Two of those weapons, one was what they used to call like an Uzi, which is a fully automatic weapon, and one was a 9mm that had a little trigger switch that makes it, I'm not a gun expert, but makes it fully automatic. These are very serious weapons. There are a lot of the weapons. There's a lot of drugs in these photographs. So that's why we had to use or we chose to use really our SWAT team to kick these doors in to serve the search warrants, because these are dangerous people.
Well, and I noticed in the press release, it's the field force unit. What's that? What's
Yeah.
a field force unit?
Well, sometimes we need additional manpower. What we do is we do an assessment for everything that we do practically. We do an assessment for the Blue Angels, and we do assessment every time we attempt to do a search warrant. And we grade it out based upon who we think is there, whether they have a history of violence, history of gun use, and then we decide we need more people. So because we were doing practically three search warrants at the same time, an A and a B on units on F Street, and then the other search warrant at the same time. We needed additional manpower, so we notified our individuals that have been training with our field force, and typically the field force is what we use for potential riot situations or to help us to quell a riot, if you will. And we have to, not that we've had any in a long time, thank goodness, but we do have to make sure we train and we have the equipment for that. So it's just a manpower issue. We used a field force, not the whole field force unit, but just those who were available, those who were willing to come out and help our SWAT team and help our narcotics unit do the search warrant itself.
Yeah, so it is an interesting thing when you look at. We know that we're on the interstate. That creates a different dynamic as far as we're on that route from a lot of drugs pass through this county or have in the past. But it's really, I think, for the public to know how aggressively y'all are doing it and then just realizing it's not wasted manpower either when you see what y'all are getting.
Well, we when I first got elected a few years ago now, we opened reestablished our partnerships with the federal authorities, specifically DEA and ATF and the U.S. Attorney's Office, to help us with this, bringing these larger drug dealers to justice. So we rejoined these task forces, but that wasn't enough. We wanted to do more. We wanted to show this commitment to reducing the gun violence and reducing the drugs that we have into our community. And as I just mentioned, so we added deputies to our narcotics unit. So when you talk about, as you just did, about what commitment we have this the task forces. We have what we call OSADF, for organized crime drug enforcement units, but we also have our own narcotics unit that continues to work, and in fact are doing twofold type of work. And that's not even counting their uniform patrol and the deputies that can make a traffic stop. And you've seen a couple of those on the news recently, where we stopped a car for whatever reason, and end up getting methamphetamine, fentanyl, or whatever off the street. So we're doing our best, and at the same time we're working with our technology as we've spoken about in the past.
Well, and that's let's talk about the Real Time Crime Center. That has been a huge hit. I know you're almost every day, every week, you're looking at ways to get more cameras and strengthen it. How's that part coming for you?
It's funny you say that. We had a meeting this morning, and every Wednesday morning meeting that I have, I ask where are we at on two things: on the Montclair camera project that we have been working on over the last year, really, and getting cameras on in that area, and that's almost completely done. These things don't happen overnight. We have to get access. We have to get right away permissions. We have to power up the cameras. We have to get connectivity, and all those things are working. So we're almost there on the Montclair camera project. And then I also asked about the Pensacola Beach boardwalk, which we have just completed the cameras and placed them in various locations at the boardwalk itself. And now we're in that, okay, what's next type of a conversation. And one is that potentially have some cameras on Casino Beach. We had that conversation a couple of years ago when we talked to the Santa Rosa County Island Authority, and we decided to go with the boardwalk first, and then phase two potentially. I'm not saying they're committing to it, but potentially we'll have a conversation about putting some of those cameras on the Casino Beach parking lot itself. Right now, we're having to use our mobile or our temporary cameras, and it would be nice to have those cameras in a more permanent solution on Pensacola Beach. So those are the two things that we talk about almost daily. And then as we keep moving forward, we'll find locations where we think, because of traffic, because of input from our patrol unit and our patrol lieutenants, that hey, it would be nice to have a camera or a license plate reader at this particular intersection because we see a lot of action there.
All right, let's move over to engagement because that's the other piece that you is sort of become a part of each one of our interviews because I kind of know where to go with it. Gosh, I didn't make the dedication ceremony for the memorial, but I have gone by and looked at it. I think you have to be pleased with how that turned out.
I am so proud of to just go inside the office and gaze over, take a look at it. I'm so thankful for the foundation and the willingness to step forward and to raise the money. And again, no tax dollars were spent, even though I think probably tax dollars, a lot of people would be okay with tax dollars being spent on honoring our heroes and those who've sacrificed so much. But I'll tell you, a couple weeks ago, we were able to. We didn't dedicate it because we wanted to make sure that the ceremony itself took center stage. But we are planning another event a little bit later on. But to sit there in that venue and to look out across the chairs that were on the we'll call the lawn, and then know right behind us, or right behind me at least, was this wall with 15 deputies and two canines. And to look at the faces of the families of the fallen deputies, that they have this new grand venue, this focal point at the sheriff's office to honor their family members. And again, you've been by here, and you see there's a centerpiece of an etched star in the very middle of it, and it looks fantastic. And then there's some stadium seating on the other side. We're not completely finished with it, but I tell you, credit goes to not just the foundation, but also the contractors that really sped up a lot so that we can get that done, and so we could have it ready for our memorial just a couple of weeks ago.
Well, there was a place in the atrium of the building that was fine, but this really touches you so much more, I think. So I think, Whitney and the foundation and putting that together and the near finished product has turned out well. The other thing that was big is you had another Blazer Academy graduation, girls this time. Those photos are always just heartwarming to see.
We have these classes, the men and the women's, young men and young women's Blazer academies, and then whenever we graduate, it's this opportunity to talk to the parents and talk to the people that are the grandparents, the friends that are responsible for bringing them, and to discuss just a little bit. And sometimes I think, what am I going to talk about? Am I going to tell the story of how it started, why it started? And in this case, I spent a couple of days there, teaching just a small portion of the class, and they'll say something that'll kind of stick with you. They'll say something about their future, or they'll say something about how important it was to have this class itself. So we had a video. Part of our graduation is a quick video of all of the young men or the young women. In this case, it was a young women's graduation, and they were smart enough to interview them for the first day of class. What do you expect from the class? And then later on, and to see that just a change of heart. I don't know what to expect. I'm a little nervous. And then to see the last video where I didn't realize I'd be out talking to people and engaging like I was. It really was an enjoyable time. And that's it in a nutshell. It's to take someone and put them out of their comfort zone a little bit. Have them talk to people, have them talk to peers, have them speak up, have them talk with a confidence and understand where they're at in their lives and where they can be in their lives. And to see, let me give you an example. We have a toast at the end of each academy. And in the Young Men's Academy, I have a hard time, I explain to them what a toast is. Obviously, it's not an alcoholic, but it's a toast to talk about what they're thinking at the time and, pay tribute to the class, to the people, the future, and that sort of thing. And we have a hard time getting young men to agree to give this toast. And I can see it. I would be that same young man. But we had, when Whitney asked for volunteers to give a toast for the females class, she had like 6 people have to try out for this. She had them come up to the front of the class and gave a makeshift toast just to have to weed it out. And she had, I won't speak for her, but she had a difficult time narrowing it down to 2 because we didn't have time for that many. And the 2 that she selected did a fantastic job. It's the difference between young men's academies, young women's academy, and where they're at with regards to speaking and telling what they feel. It just amazes me every time. So we're very proud of the classes. We're very proud of where we're at on the Blazer Academy, and we're about to start an alumni young men's class here in about 2 weeks.
Oh, that's cool. So what's on the schedule for the summer for engagement? Y'all have some movie nights coming up?
Well, we're going to probably push the movie nights to a little bit in the fall when it cools off just a
The
little
heat?
bit.
Yeah.
We do have a coffee with a cop. Or bagels with a cop. This will be at the Bagel Heads on North Davis. I think it's June the 20th on a Friday. So it's our way of we have a number of engagement opportunities and platforms. The movie night's one of the big ones. The coffee with a cop is really it's become more because we've done it one time at an ice cream place. We've done it at different locations. So it's an opportunity for us to get out and let people know that we will be there at this time. If you have an issue you want to talk about, if you want to spend some time with we're getting to know our sheriff's employees and our canines, this is your time to do it, especially in the summer because kids are out of school.
Right.
And the thought there is that, if you're going to come and get a cup of coffee, if you're going to come and get a breakfast bagel, coming up here on this particular day, and we'll continue with our engagement opportunities and platforms.
Great. Well, Chip, thank you for coming on this afternoon.
Thanks for watching, and to keep up with what's going on, be sure and subscribe. Just click on the little dog to the right and click the subscribe button. You can also like this video and click on the bell, which will notify you of new content. This really helps the channel grow. We appreciate you.